Welcome to My Heart on Pages. This is LaQuita Parks, and I am the CEO and founder of PayProV Publishing. And PayProV is Pain, Progress, Victory, because I believe without pain, there is no progress, and without progress, there can be no victory. So I help people take their stories from a thought to a realization. And today I have a special guest with me. And my guest, if you guys tuned in to our other show, So What's Your Story? You had a chance to hear some amazing vocals, a beautiful video with a song called Letting It Go. And I have to say, that has become my favorite song. It has become my favorite song. So we're going to jump right into it, and we're going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself, Mr. Ware.
Hello, everybody. I'm Thomas Ware, and I'm a singer, songwriter, author, and a producer.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. You're a singer, songwriter, author, producer. You just had a movie come out, and you're author. Tell us about the book. Let's talk about the book, because this is our Heart on Pages, or My Heart on Pages. So let's talk about the book. Let's talk about this book. And you know what? I found it very interesting. And so tell us the name of your book.
The Reinvention of the Black Man. It's a declaration of dependence.
You know, I had a chance to skim through it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's called the reinvention of the Black man, but there's a message in there for women.
Correct.
So,
It's actually a flip. It's kind of a flip. The message, the book is really for women. Yeah.
so what made, okay, so all right, so women, I hope you guys are listening, because he has a message in there for real. So what made you write that book, and where did the title, what was the inspiration of the title?
You know, truthfully, it really does stem. Me growing up, I got an opportunity to see just how important it was. Like, I had a very strong mother. Both my parents were in the house, but I had a very strong mother who really did pull everything together. You know, and so I got an opportunity to see that. But then, as I grew in society, as I grew older, I got an opportunity to see that the majority of my friends that I hung around, they did not have a mother and a father in the home. And so a lot of the differences that we had stemmed from what they didn't have that I did have. And that was very it was eye opening for me. And I realized also that, you know, in order for us to be great, no matter how strong the Black man may appear in his community, it really does take the balance of both mother and father. That woman in his life means so much. And a lot of the things that we did as young men was because we wanted the attention of women. And so this book kind of takes that power, and it shows the woman in the book how she has so much power that many do not even realize they have. And so instead of letting it be used as a weakness or a weak point, reverse it and use it as a strong point that could actually be great for the entire community. That was the real catalyst of the book.
And you know what? I like how you broke down how you broke it down. You talk about money.
Yes.
You talk about money, and I like at one part you said that a man will do anything for a woman, including getting himself together.
Right.
I call it getting your act right together.
Okay.
I like that. But how important is money? How does money play a role? And we know before y'all start jumping on me, we know money is the root of all evil. But you know, you can't move without money. You know, you have to have money. So how important is it in shaping or reinventing the Black man?
Money plays an important role. However, uh, men don't chase money because they just love money. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, money is power, and money gives you access. And so many times we overlook that we can look at it in a shallow viewpoint, and that shallow viewpoint says we just love money because we want to buy clothes, we want a nice car, we want all of these things. But there's really still a root to it. Like
Mm-hmm.
why do you want all of these things?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, a lot of people know that, we get things because we want people to see things that we have. But
Mm-hmm.
more importantly, for men, they get it because they want the attraction. And so, for a woman, the power lies in this type of a scenario that, what's more important in the picture? Is it really just a matter of money being present, or by any means necessary, or is it a matter of money being present by the right lane? In other words, is it being done in the correct way? What are you attracted to? If you're attracted to the guy that has money and the nice car and he got it in illegal ways, guess what? He gonna do whatever it takes to keep getting that money
Mm-hmm.
illegally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if you have a standard set, then it would actually encourage him to set a standard in his own life.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I like that. One of the things that you said was and I'm paraphrasing here. You have two men. You have a man that don't have money, and you have the one that does. And just like you said, you have the one that doesn't really have the money, and he's working hard and doing all those things to get the money the right way. But then you
Right.
have the one who has the money, and he may have gotten it through ill-gotten means. And there are some women who they're not seeing the brother over here that's doing the right thing and he's working hard to build something. They're seeing the one who has already gotten it,
Right.
the fast lane, and that's the attraction. And we see that a lot. And it's kind of like what I say on social media. You can be anybody who you want to be on social media,
Right.
and who knows whether it's true or not. But at the end of the day, the real truth comes out. Your
That's
real
right.
true self shows. So how is it when from your standpoint? And I like that you took it and you broke it down into different categories. And you started out by saying this is not, where women would say, oh, you male bashing.
Right.
This is not to throw shade or to down the woman. It's just to give you an understanding. It's to give women an understanding of, here we are. This is where we are. This is where we're going. This is what we need from you.
Yeah.
So why was it important for you to write a book for Black men? Because I have a diverse audience. So
Right.
why is it important? And it's your story. It's your book, Reinvention of the Black Man. Why was it important for you to share that message from where you are?
Well, you know what's very funny is that I was asked. I have a lot of Caucasian friends, and I was asked the question, well, why not just the reinvention of the man? Because we all have this same type of experience. I understood that, but this was a personal matter. I think for me, it was very personal, and it was at a time when I really did come into a place of realization. A lot.
Okay, did we lose you, Thomas?
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Okay. So this is one of the times. Can you hear me well? I'm sorry. I
I
just want to make
can
sure.
hear you fine.
Okay. I lost you for some reason. I don't know what happened. But this was one of those situations where I actually came into the realization myself of what the reason why I was doing the things that I was doing. And so with that being said, it really did put me in a place where I spoke about my own personal journey.
Mhm.
And speaking about my own personal journey, that's why it came out the way it did. When I said the reinvention of the Black man, it's what I knew from my community, what I knew from the guys under the tree when we used to hang out when we were
Yeah.
young, and
Mhm.
all of the guys that we call quote unquote the OGs that was teaching us the real about life. this was the things that I saw and I heard. So this gave me an opportunity to say, for a step back a moment and say, you know what? Wait a minute. A lot of the stuff that I took and thought was real life wisdom wasn't wisdom. We've kind of been working backwards, and it really is the centerpiece of our community's issues. It really is. When we realize that when I say that dependence, the declaration of dependence, it really does mean, listen, we need you. We need you, and we need you. And I hate to try to make it seem like it's all on a woman. I don't want anyone to ever think that. But what I do want women to see inside of this book is that you have so much power.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that you complain about that you see from men is because someone in the same gender race of women, somebody's letting that happen and get away with it. You know what I mean? So it's like, if there's a bar that's raised among a multitude, we can have the opportunity to see a change among the multitude. That's what I truly believe.
And you know what? I like that you said it's your experience. We all have different experiences. And one of the things I like about My Heart on Pages, it's
you know what? I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened, but something zapped you from speaking. Give me 1 second. Let me just make sure I can fix this right quick. I'm so sorry.
Okay. And so we're live, and that's okay because this is technology.
I did not want this to, I don't know what exactly happened here.
That's okay.
Can you stay in and let me go out and come back in?
Okay, sure. All right. So we are interviewing Mr. Thomas Ware, and hey, things happen. This is life. And I know, if you know, like I know, then life be lifing, as somebody once said. I think my good friend said, life be lifing. Anyway, we are waiting for Thomas to come back in. He is the author of The Reinvention of the Black Man. And one of the things that I like about this book is that he is talking to women. And sometimes there are things that need to be said. And while we're waiting for him, one of the things that his book says, Reinvention of the Black Man, is a must read for women everywhere. This book should be in every woman's collection. Whether single or married, this is the book for you. There are many common mistakes that we make in life. Relationships are no exception. In fact, unhealthy relationships are the reason we tend to beat ourselves down time and time again. With the rapid negative changes in our society, morals and values have been taken out of picture. In life, we must set standards when choosing acquaintances. With this fact in mind, why not set the same, if not higher, standards for the man you choose? Within these pages, we give you important facts that women should know about dating the Black man, things you can do to help with deciding on the right man, and most importantly, how to unleash the power that women hold, which is the very secret to changing him. Ladies, please consider this a declaration of dependence. I give you the reinvention of the Black man. And this is the declaration of dependence, not the declaration of independence. So we are going to bring Thomas back. I think he's back in the house now. Hey, you back with us?
I am, and I can hear you fine now. All right.
Okay, good. While we were waiting for you to come back, and this is live, and you know what? I love it. Live things happen. This isn't recorded. What you see is what you get, and what you get is what it is. Okay. Yes. This is live. This is real life. I just read an excerpt from your book. It's a must read for women, and I like that. So you were saying that what I was saying is that everybody has a story. And we have to tell our stories. We can only tell our stories, honestly, from our own individual perspectives and from our own individual experiences. So even though my sister and I lived in the same house, we have a different view or a different perception of how things were. The relationships we had with our mothers were different. So as a Black man, your experiences are going to be different than those of a white person or a Caucasian, or because we grew up differently. Our environments are different. Our upbringing is different. So I like the fact that you're having this. It's like with your book, you're having a conversation with women, kind of like things to consider, so to speak.
Yes, yes, yeah, absolutely. And what I wanted to do more than anything is empower women. I believe this empowered women, and the focus point was if our women are empowered to have a different perspective on how they view their man, how they view the approach of relationship, or why we do the things that we do. It also empowers the men, empowers our men in the community as well. And that's something that's so important, because I feel like it's kind of, we've kind of gotten a wave going now, and I've noticed this extremely on social media, where they show a lot of women that talk about money and why money is so important, and a man has to have a bag, he has to have blah blah blah. So while you're making these statements say it doesn't have anything else attached to where this bag is coming from. It's just the importance of having the bag.
Right.
And when you know what I mean? So when
Yeah.
you start
What
thinking
kind of
about,
bag now?
yeah,
There's a lot of there's a lot that comes with that.
there's a lot that comes with the bag. So you got to kind of, there's no real description of what do you look for in that man with the bag? How did he get the bag? And what are the requirements for the man that comes into your life? If he has the bag, what are the requirements of how he got it?
What do you
Because,
bring to the table? What do
yeah,
you
yeah,
bring to the table?
right,
I have friends, and I have male friends who are like, LaQuita, I talked to this woman and she this and that, and it's always the outward appearance. It's the outward appearance. And I'm like, you know what, you're looking, and a lot of times, especially with social media, you don't get the substance. The
right,
substance is not there, because like you said, we're looking for, women. Some women are looking, not me, are looking for the bag without any inkling of where it's coming from.
yes,
And it's the outward appearance.
right,
Well, I am so glad that God looks at the heart and
yes,
not the outward appearance, because there are some people, you can put a filter on
right,
and you never know what you're getting. You don't really
right,
know what you're getting. So you have to know, okay, what am I bringing to the table? And you know what, another thing that, and I haven't had a chance to read the whole book, I just skimmed through, but one of the things that I like too is the book is not downing women. It's like you said, we're helpmates. So it's a partnership. And so everybody has to be bringing something to the table. And while we're looking for the bag, is he what I need? Is he going to lift me? If he's going to be the person to elevate me, are we elevating each other? So
right,
I like the fact that you're focusing on the different areas, and it's like, okay, here's the money. Okay, money is important. This is why money is important.
yeah,
Health is important. And so as we transition from that, how important, let's talk about the mental health aspect.
mhm,
That's important, because we talked about this before. As men, men carry this heavy weight on their shoulders, and you're not supposed to do this. Men, oh, you're a man, you're not supposed to cry, you can't do this, you can't do that. Let's talk about the mental health aspect of what it is to the reinvention of the Black man, and what that means to get that bag. How does that play on a person's mental health, or man's mental health?
exactly. Now that question, I have been watching several. I don't know how I did it. I think my wife rubbed off on me some type of way. She watches a lot of crime stories in these different TV shows, and I complained about it so much to where I think it's rubbed off, because now I'm starting to watch stuff like that. So I think one of the things that I've noticed, there's been several situations where they've shown African American couples who were dating or married, they had children, and the woman was the breadwinner, and the male had some rough times, lost his job or whatever, and he ends up killing himself and killing his family. because of his failures. And so when we start to think about the mental health aspect of it, we have a society that really does push on men the fact that money is so important, that it is what makes you. And so when it comes to being able to provide for family, being able to be the ideal man that people talk about on high levels and high scales, to where it does make the average individual who's just a good guy, that's just trying to work, and he wants a simple family, and he wants to try his best. He might not have everything intact yet, but that causes so much anxiety and pressure that many people would never believe. I've had so many conversations with fellas, and it's like, when you hear some of the stories, the way that they feel about themselves, the way that they think about the future of having children, taking care of their family, a lot of these guys actually run from the relationship because they can't, what they're dealing with on the inside that's beating them up, that they can't take care of the family. And it may sound very weird, but it sounds strange, but truthfully, to a lot of people, the best way for them to get rid of the pain is to avoid it. Everything. To just go about and forget about it. So when I look at it, I really do see this pressure being something that's not really being alleviated by society, but it's becoming even more compressed and pressurized, to where I believe that eventually it will cause some form of a massive, I would say massive damage to our communities, even more than what's there already. I truly believe.
And you know what do you think about this? Because as you're talking, I'm thinking, we have the man who's running away from the responsibility of it all because it's heavy. And then you have the woman, because it's a vicious cycle. Then you have the woman who is wearing the weight of the world, because the mom is, they cooking and they cleaning, they got a full-time job, they got to take care of the kids, and they have to do this, they have to carry the whole weight. And then the man isn't there to help in that. So here we have the woman is carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. She's suffering from depression. She's suffering from all these health issues because she's taking it inwardly. And then when she meets that man who is equipped, or who is strong enough and has bared all that burden and is saying, hey, I'm ready to shoulder this with you, then they can't see that, because they're weighted down. And it's like, it's a vicious cycle.
It is.
So it seems like it is designed because God designed the family plan.
Right.
That was God. God did that. He designed it so that the men and women had a lane. Yeah. And we started, intertwining in each other's lanes, and it's a big mess. Yeah. So here we have the man shouldering, it's heavy, and they've checked out. And then you have the woman shouldering, it's heavy. They can't check out, so they're hurting, sad and angry, and it's just like a vicious circle. It's a vicious cycle. It's just going, and it's like that roller coaster ride that keeps going, and there's no off switch, unless it burns out and it crashes and it burns. So I like with your book, you're saying, okay, you know what, it's not an independence, it's a dependence. And I love that, because you're saying, hey, we need each other. Yes. You can't do it by yourself. We can't do it by ourselves. We need you. This is what we need. So I love that you said that. When you talk about mental health, you have the song, Letting It Go. How did that tie in? I know the book came out first. What made you go there? And listen, if you guys have not heard the song, You need to go to YouTube after this interview and download it and play it. It is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Everything I've been holding. What is it? I'm letting it go. I'm not
Let
gonna
me go.
sing, y'all. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna sing because that's his
Everything that's
song.
holding me down, I'm letting it go.
Everything that's holding me down, I'm letting it go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's everything.
Everything.
Everything that's holding you down, I'm letting it go. So how did the two connect?
Well, I would say in this picture, I pretty much have seen a development with a lot, and some of this stuff has not happened on purpose. It's really kind of, I would say, evolved, and everything kind of ties into each other because it all really does stem and have one common denominator to it all, and that is in order for us to have total wellness, we have to have a balanced relationship in life, and we have to have a balanced a view and a realistic view on how we are able to live and survive in life. And so many times the things that do hold us down, and truthfully, this goes from relationship as well as to our single lives. The things that hold us down is the unrealistic views that we see in the form of media, music, and all of these things. It's so unrealistic to where it paints the picture of happiness, and it paints it on things that in no way, shape, or form, it's like an oxymoron. There's no way, shape, or form it could actually bring us happiness. It's interesting that we are even in this area right now, because I was just riding today, and I turned on one of the radio stations, and it had a lot of the older music on that we listened to during the time period I was seeing the 90s coming into the early 2000s. And everything in those songs, we sung those songs, we danced to those songs, but those songs were so toxic, and it was so sexually driven.
Yes.
To where I don't even think we realized what we were singing. I really don't. And so all of these things have been allowed to come into our spirit. And now it manifests, a certain fruit from us, And so what we see in our community is a combination of music, a combination of bad information, a combination of all of these negative things that have been placed into our lives. And we've taken it as the right thing to do and the right way to feel good in life.
We were telling our children, don't listen to those songs, but we were listening to them.
There you go. I mean, what we see now that's outrageously degrading came from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It stems from somewhere, and it's a gradual process. And see, that's the thing about with this entire book, the reinvention. The reason why we need to reinvent is because there's a process that we've gone through, and over time we've gotten to where we are. It's gonna need the same amount of attention and effort put into it from both our men and women in order for this to reinvent, in order to tear down the building and rebuild it the correct way. It's going to take the same amount of effort.
And you know what? And I like that you said that, because we can't just go and make and do some patchwork.
Right.
We can't do patchwork. We have to start at the foundation. Where did it come from? Where's the thinking? We have to build it from the floor up.
Yeah.
And because we have our children, so it's the generation after generation, they're getting the same thing. And there has to be a breaking of the cycle.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No. You're good. You're good.
It just really popped into my head. Like when we released this book, a lot of women took the book and they asked, could I come in and have a session with them and their friends? They would get, and it's amazing how women really do have this thought process of bettering, making themselves better. You know what I'm saying? And you can see that in education. You can see that financially. This is like the year of the woman. Like you see CEOs everywhere. You see what I'm saying? And it's
Exactly.
because they really do have a certain drive, and it may be because of they realize it's going to take them to have that hustle mentality to in order for them to make sure the family is good.
Right, right,
You know what I mean? Kind of like
right.
picking up the pieces. And so, but they would gather friends and they would sit and talk and they'd go through the book and ask questions on each character that's pointed out in the book because they wanted to know how to maneuver in life so that they would not be a hindrance, but
Hmm.
also fall in some of the pitfall areas that are there.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it was so important because I didn't try to teach women how to think like a man.
Right,
You see what I'm saying? And act like a woman. I was,
right.
and mind you, this book came out the exact same, I believe, month that Steve's book came out. But I didn't try to teach them how to be conniving.
Hmm.
I wanted them to just know that what they had was enough.
Hmm.
And it's just the mentality must be a mentality that is thoughtful towards your men as well as the women, so
And
that it will work well.
and where is it? What's the Bible on it? You know what I'm
Right,
saying? And
right,
at what point does the Bible teach you that? You
right,
know, and
right.
there are people, and I know there are people who don't follow the Bible, but those of us who do, at
Yeah,
what point have we steered clear of that? And we're operating on our own recognizances.
there you go.
So I want to know how to do XYZ, but then what? How am I making the application?
Yeah,
I have it. Am I taking this and am I exploring this? And am I looking in the mirror? Am I looking at the woman in the mirror to
yeah,
say, okay, this is my part. This is what I need to do. And we don't do that oftentimes. Oftentimes it's okay, you know what, this is what I want. This is how I want to get it. And
yeah.
if it feels strange to me, then I'm not going to do that. Or there are those, and there are just plain, and I'm just going to keep it real. There are just plain people who just don't want to do it.
Right,
They're not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. And there are women who, just like you said, they want to know how can I build my man up without doing it for him? Because at the end of the day, a man has to be a man. They have to be a man. They have to be the protectors of society. They
right.
have to be the providers of society. It doesn't mean that they can't have help. And it doesn't mean that as a woman, you can't be a provider too for your family.
That's
But you
right.
have to know, am I being a provider? And when my husband is not, am I the one that's saying, oh, well, I bring home all the money and you got the attitude with it? That's not
Right,
what that means.
right.
It's a partnership. So we're doing this together. So at what point do I come in and say, okay, you know what? I want to do this, but then you have your girlfriend who's chatting in your ear. Girl, if
Right.
I was you, I wouldn't do that. That's where the problem lies.
Yes.
Because you have that the wolf pack that's saying, if I was you, and I don't need a man.
Right.
You hear
Right.
that, and it's not to say that as a woman you have to take care of you. If you have to take care of yourself, especially if you're a single woman, you have to take care of yourself. But you should, in that aspect, that's lifting yourself up and building your foundation. And then when that strong man comes in, you have to be open to say, okay, this is what I've done, this is what I need, and we're doing this together. It
Right.
doesn't happen like that, Thomas.
Right. Right. You're right. You're
It does
absolutely
not.
correct.
It
You're
does not.
absolutely correct. Yeah. And I believe one of the things that's so important that we must point out is that women, you have so much power. And I don't think it really sinks in for a lot of women how much power they have and where their power really lies at. I was reading, and I like to go into some of the lost books in the Apocrypha. And one of the important things that I saw there, one of the kings were talking to all of his men that were supposed to be wise men. And he had a statement he made. He said, "Tell me what is the most powerful thing in a king's kingdom?" And they went off on a journey. All of the wise men went away to think for several days what was the most powerful thing in the kingdom. When they came back, some of them came and said chariot, the horses, the spearmen, the soldiers, and all of these things. And the last man said, a woman. And when he said it, the king said, explain. And he said, well, the king goes to war and fights for the sake of the queen.
Mm-hmm.
The horses, they are sent to war, not to protect the kingdom, but to protect the queen. He said, at the end of the day, everything that man does is for the sake of a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And the king said, you know what? I'm going to give you all of the gold that I said I would give you. He said, because this is wise. This is wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it truly is. You were created to have every single thing that a man needed and desired.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you realize that, if you harness that well, you can actually, and we hate this statement of leadership. I understand that men have this certain position. We have that traditional thought process, but a woman can guide a man's heart.
Absolutely.
Into the right direction, because his intentions are really to please a woman. And
well,
so if you got, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and the Bible says, and this is for marriage, but the Bible says, husbands, treat your wife as Christ treated the church.
Yes.
Well, if husbands treat, that was the bride of Christ.
That's
so
right.
If husbands treat their wives like Christ treated the church, then you got to get queendom treatment every day.
Every day.
And so that's there are some people, I don't want no man telling me what to do. No, he's not telling you what to do. He's leading you. And when he leads you, you guys are there together. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Christ gave his life for the church.
That's right.
That's a beautiful thing.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. And you're like, and that's what needs to be nurtured. But we have to be taught that.
Yes.
And another thing, we have to not be resistant to the teaching.
That's
so
right.
If you're not, so it's like with leaders, you have to be open. It's leaders. I have to buy into your message. In order for me to follow you, I have to agree with your message. I have to believe in you. I have to have the whole buy-in. If I don't have the buy-in, for me, if it's something I don't believe in, you can forget it. I'm not posting on social media. I'm not liking, I'm not disliking, I'm not saying nothing. I'm just quiet because it's your thing. It's just not for me. It doesn't mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong. It just means that it's wrong for me. Right. So as women and men, we have to have the buy-in, and there's a responsibility for all parties involved. And if all parties are not doing what they're supposed to do, because I can't carry his part and my part, and that's where the disconnect comes. That's where the breakdown comes. That's where the disappearing acts come, because I'm trying to run my lane and your lane, and it just simply does not work. And you know what? We're talking about the Black man, but that doesn't work in any nationality.
No,
it does not work with anybody. Nobody in business, in personal, anything. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
That's right. You're absolutely right. And it's just a matter of, I think you said a key thing, and that was a person has to be open. They have to be open. Sadly enough, most times it takes most people to be sick, tired, and broke down, and devastated before
they sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Before they finally say, let me do something different. But what I did notice is that the more women that gathered and had these conversations with me, it seems as if though they gathered more women to follow them. And the message was easily received because other women were pushing it. You see what I'm saying? So the statement was, man, I tell you, when you look at power, you really gotta give props where props is due. When you look at the world, it's moved by women.
Yes, it is. Yes, because we're the movers and the shakers.
Yeah,
we're the movers and the shakers.
Yeah, it's moved by women. So when you got women that are when women become the gatekeepers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's women that are wise women that
Right.
have great intentions about their communities and
Mm-hmm.
relationships.
Mm-hmm.
When you have women that are gatekeepers that are in that form of power in mind state, you
Mm-hmm.
will see a change happen in those communities.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's only because it's really only the women that fall for the gimmick of the bag
Mm-hmm.
are
Mm-hmm.
usually women who have not been taught by women the, something better. They've listened to the women who were only about, they didn't have a lot of self esteem, they didn't have a lot of care for their own body, they didn't treasure themselves, and they taught other women to be the same way. And money was the one source that made them important. But when
Mm-hmm.
you have
Mm-hmm.
women that have that standard already, that you can tell the daughters that they raise. You can tell
Yeah.
from the
Oh yeah.
children that, you know what I'm saying? It's
Oh
just
yeah.
different.
Oh
Even
yeah.
their household, their husbands, the way that the family moves is totally different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can tell it's a standout. A
Yeah, yeah,
standout. Well, you know
absolutely.
what? I tell you, we can go on and on and on with this conversation. It's a great conversation. Before we go, and time certainly passes by so fast.
Yeah, it does.
Tell us about your song. How's it doing?
It's doing great. It's number 27 on the Billboard charts now, and
Oh,
I'm waiting for the updates. I'm sure by the end of this week, I'm praying that it's moved further up in the charts. We're coming on to the 2 month period, so
mhm.
that's pretty quick so far. But for the most part, we just got added to Music Choice, which is the
Oh,
Music Choice channel for all of television. So
yes.
over 65 plus million homes. And so that was a great accomplishment this on yesterday actually. So it's moving right along, and we're excited about it. We're excited and just looking forward to a lot. We have a lot of dates going on the calendar for concerts. So we're looking forward to just seeing this go all the way up to number one.
Well, I listen, I'm right there with you. I love the song. Congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
And how can people get in touch with you?
You can get it. Actually, you can go to my website, which is chmg.vip. Chmg.vip. And you can always drop me a note on Facebook or Instagram.
All right, all right. Well, you know what? Thank you so much. I have to read listen, you guys, and tell them how they can purchase your book. Do they purchase it
You
through
can
the
go to
website or
Amazon.
can go to Amazon?
Yes, you can go to Amazon. I did not add the link to the website, but you can go to Amazon and look up Reinvention of the Black Man by Thomas Ware. Order that book. I promise you, it will bless you. I promise you that.
It has a lot of really, really good information, and it's a must read. Women, if you are looking to understand, if you're seeking understanding, this is a really, really good book to read. So thank you so much, Thomas. I appreciate
You.
you for being here once again. It has been a plump, pleasing pleasure. Listen, guys, if you guys are writing your story, if you have a story, and I know that you have a story because 100% of everybody living and dead has a story. So, like Thomas said, there are women and men who are seeking to be understood. Share your story. We've had some experiences. We've been through some things. I know if you know, like I know, you have been through some things. You have a story brewing in your heart. Write the story because there's somebody waiting on the other end of your story to get healing from their story. And listen, if you are wanting to write your stories, this is our Journey from Boys to Men anthology. This is an amazing, amazing project with 22 men. We just talked about this. Men don't share. But here are 22 men who've shared their stories in this anthology. And if you're interested in being a part of book 2, Our Journey from Boys to Men, part 2, reach out to us at payprovpublishing.com and we can get you added. Also, if you are a woman and you have a story too, we are doing the first edition of Our Journey from Girls to Women. And Thomas, I think that's going to be a powerful one. It's going to be a powerful one.
I'm
We have
sure.
women from all walks of life who are sharing their stories, what they went through on the journey. And we're talking about persevering. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about growing. You guys are going to be truly, truly blessed by these stories. And Also, if you're a veteran, we are also doing our 4th Veterans Book Project, Sworn to Duty, a soldier story. So if you are a veteran, or if you're a family of veteran and you want to tell their story, I just talked to someone whose father was a Buffalo soldier.
Mm,
Okay, they don't talk about the Buffalo Soldiers, do they?
that's rich. That's
They
deep.
don't talk about the
Yeah.
Buffalo Soldiers, but we have somebody joining the anthology for the veterans who is going to talk about his father's story. He was a real Buffalo soldier. I'm excited about it. But listen, if you are writing your story and you need help, if there's anything we can do to help you, reach out to paprovpublishing.com, PAPROVI publishing.com, and let us help you take your story from a thought to a realization. So, Thomas, I'm going to give you the last moment. If you can tell, if you can share any message with the woman, the Black woman, about the Black man, what would it be?
That he's not as hard as he appears to be.
Mm.
He's not. And he needs the same care, and he needs the same love and the same attention that you do. It's just seen so differently. But don't neglect that. He's definitely much different. If you get a chance to get to know them for real, you'll get a chance to see that on the inside it's a totally different being than what they appear to be on the outside.
All right. I love it. You heard it here. All right. So it has been a plump, pleasing pleasure, better than a triple decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And with that, it has been a pleasure. Until the next time, this has been My Heart on Pages with my guest, Thomas Ware. Don't forget to go to Amazon, pick up his book, The Reinvention of the Black Man. Get the book today. All right. And download his song, Letting It Go. Letting it go. All right, Thomas, hang in there for me for a moment. Until next time, you guys be good.